Hello friends, my name is Ramasu. Today we shall discuss about topic the project stakeholder. Friend, today's topic is very interesting, especially if you have interest in project manager or you are planning to give exam or PNP in near future. So let's start. First of all, I would request to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell option as well so that my new videos can reach to you. And also you can follow me on the Facebook page as well. Friend, whenever we talk about a stakeholder, basically we are referring to a person who has interest in a project. This interest means it could be a positive interest, it could be a negative interest in a project. Positive stakeholders are those who are assuming, who are thinking to get some benefits from the completion of a project. Or negative stakeholders are those persons who have some impact on their performance on them, so they are thinking that the project should not be completed, so that is why they are called as negative stakeholders. So basically whenever we are implementing a project or a product or service, it is very important to manage these stakeholders. If being a project manager you can manage the stakeholders, you can manage the success of a project is basically we cannot implement a project stand alone and without any involvement of persons. Stakeholders are those persons like from customer side, the project manager, the CEO, CTO, the functional managers, the persons who have involved in the project implementation, either from customer side or either from vendor side. Okay, if the stakeholder involved from customer side, they will be called as the external stakeholders. So stakeholders which are beyond, which are outside from your organization, are called as external stakeholders, and the stakeholders which involve inside the organization are called as internal stakeholders. For example, the CEO of the customer side, he will be considered as the external stakeholder. The project manager of the vendor side, he will be called as the internal stakeholder. So there are mainly two types, internal and external. External stakeholders are those which are outside your organization. Internal stakeholders are those which are inside your organization. Basically friend, as a project manager, you must have to be able to manage the stakeholder requirements, expectations, influence, impact, and you must have to know the strengths and weaknesses of the project stakeholder. You must have to do proper planning, that how will you manage the stakeholders, how will you monitor and control the stakeholders influence and impact. Basically friend, being a project manager, you should have very good relationships with the stakeholders, and you must have to manage their expectations and requirements as well. If you can manage their expectations and requirements, you can successfully complete a project as well. So basically friend, whenever we are talking about stakeholders, basically we are referring to the persons who have the interest in the project. Also it is important to engage these stakeholders throughout the project. By engaging means that, like for example, you can have the requirement gathering meetings with them, you can have the risk identification with them, you can be sending the status reports to them. Okay, so by means that we are engaging the stakeholders in a project, and if there is any issues, you can make a issue log, and if they are if they are raising any issue in a project, you must have to handle it, you must have to manage it. And if you can for example, any stakeholder is saying that his requirement is not added in the scope document, so you must have to think that either it's possible to include it or not. If it's possible to include it, so you must have to include it with the if any change request is required. See, it's also important to identify the stakeholders at a very early stage of a project, because see, if any stakeholder who is missing in the identification process, obviously he will be identified at some later stage. If he identified at some later stage, he will definitely he will definitely consider, he will definitely say it as a raise any requirement as a change request. So friend, thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please share it with the friends and colleagues, and thanks a lot for watching the video. Thank you.